We have Rise going up against Forge for the title of the Fly Champions. Just looking at who's going to be stepping up on the first face-off today. It's Dan Madeley going down for Forge.
Yeah, these are the two under-21 face-off guys going head-to-head. So these guys know each other well. You know, setting the precedent early. So good battle, but it looks like it's going to come up Forge. They've won. Have they got the possession? No, it's going to go Rise.
Battle and it goes Rise. Rise captain Alex Russell passing off. Post from Prescott. And pressure again straight away from Rise trying to win ball back. But it's been secured by Forge and now they'll get their first possession of the game.
Yeah, Rise have started with a strong out on-field team and they're really going to look to put this pressure on, I think, early doors, try and get themselves into a strong position straight away.
Paige Laycott protecting the ball well, moving inside. Baxter again spreading himself big.
Yeah, we've seen Will Baxter really, you know, make big differences for his team across this couple of weekends, and he's doing that straight away in this final.
And on the opposite ends, Ryan Huns, there we go. We saw it in the semi-final yesterday, and he opens up again today with that one-handed sling into the corner.
Yeah, he's a very slick player, is Ryan Huns, and, you know, probably starting off in style, and we'll expect to see more of that, I'm sure.
So he just makes it look so easy. Went to go on the left, the shot wasn't open, so just went inside, right-handed instead, one hand. But that's a really great response from Tom Bracegirdle there. That's really powerful for his side.
Yeah, that is what he does nicely. You know, he gets himself into a good position. He knows he's a strong left-handed player. He uses his physicality and his size. I think he's clocking in at about 102 kilos. I'm not quite sure I'd be happy pushing back against that myself.
Russell finds the woodwork. Advantage here for Forge, penalty coming. Still fight for the loose ball, but there we go, there's the call.
So we're going to see Forge go extra man here, I think it's for 30 seconds. They're going to bring on Parker for the extra man opportunity, and they've already got Dan Watson on the field, so they've got their two out-and-out attackmen out there already. One lefty, one righty, they're occupying the low spots. Let's see what they run on this extra man here now, Sean.
To open it up from top, nice pass down to Ming Trin, but again Baxter read it so well, knew where it was going, picked it off with ease.
Yeah, we've seen them run that top corner rotation a few times. Parker looked like he was going to shoot, but actually got his head up, looked down onto the low post, and you know, I think Ming Trin would like to have put that one in the back of the net because there was a great creation from their extra man.
I think we're seeing here now, you know, we've only played sort of 3 and a bit minutes, but I think I can already feel that, you know, the game's got a little bit of occasioness, a bit of a sort of tension to it, and I think we're going to see, you know, a game that's going to be close right to the end, toe for toe.
Yeah, I hope so. I always think in a final it's really important to get yourself on the scoreboard early doors. Both teams have done that. Hopefully it settles them down. You know, we saw Bracegirdle taking that goal opportunity for his side. We also saw Rise getting on nice and early as well. So those experienced players actually making sure that their teams can settle into this final nice and early.
Yeah, and Forge have got themselves another man-up opportunity here. Tom Porter's gone to the penalty chair this time round.
Yeah, so what you'll expect to see here is as that ball goes up across the top, they'll do that top corner rotation, probably on the next rotation. Here you go, you can see it there, they're rotating across the top, trying to move that defence, really stepping in. Baxter equal to it there, though.
Yeah, Forge have done a good job of hitting the target so far, trying to work Baxter, but like we say, you know, got to be hitting those corners, got to be, you know, hitting those right angles to be able to beat him.
Yeah, I think it's really important. He's a goalkeeper of quality, so is Blower. So the teams are going to, have to take good shots. And that means either being in a good location, but also I think moving the goalie either one-on-one or shifting him across his line. I know the goalkeeper's been talking about playing a slightly higher arc because of the distances that they're taking these shots, which they're backing themselves with their reactions and actually limiting shooting angles.
Yeah, push called against Bracegirdle just as Pomfret got the shot off. I think that's what we'll see. I think as long as teams think that they can deny each other in transition, that they will back their goalkeepers to do that defensive work.
Yeah, so they're going to go extra man, but can just see on the right sideline. I think it's Josh Simpson-Pink. He's either gone down with cramp or something. They're trying to get the medical team over, so we'll keep you updated on that situation.
Good intercept on the crease there, Tom Hallam. Yeah, as you say, coming to the end of this weekend's play, and this is their, third game in 2 days. So, we will be keeping a watch out for how the teams maintain themselves, how they go all the way to the end, being maybe one player down at this point, how does that affect the teams as they near the end of this contest?
Yeah, we spoke about strength in depth that the Forge have got, and, Rise will really want to try and get Pink back on the field if they possibly can.
Here's transition opportunity for Forge. Parker up against Russell. Really good work from Alex Russell there, getting back in defence for his side.
Yeah, they've done a good job getting back here, Forge, but I think like we saw in the early game today, Sean, just want to get these guys to just get a grip of the game nice and early. We spoke about settling into it, but now's the time to actually try and get yourself into the ascendancy. With limited mistakes, there's another turnover. We're speaking about mistakes cost you in these types of games where, one, there's all that time pressure, but there's also, a lot for both teams to lose here in this final.
The team that manages to find that composure first, manages, to find their rhythm, find their good sets first, could be the team to come out on top. I think we saw that in our third place game earlier. Hustle were the first to settle. They got themselves in front, and while Swift seemed to pull it back towards the end, they were too far behind by that time to draw it level. And Forge have pushed themselves ahead here, and they'll want to see out the rest of the quarter, take the lead into the quarter break, and that will be a really good quarter for them up against a really powerful Rise.
Yeah, I think what we're seeing here is both teams have done their homework. They're trying to get certain matchups or push out on certain individuals because they know where the threats are. This is the learning that's taken place over the last couple of weekends. And what a finish that was. I think that was Michael Pomfret really taking and picking the top corner there.
So we've got just less than 20 seconds on the clock in the quarter. Forge will be looking for possibly last shot opportunity. Pushing aside to Paige Laycott, finds the finish.
And we've seen Paige Laycott do that time and time again. He's such a smart player off ball and inside. He finds space that I've struggled to find many other people that actually can occupy the space inside as much as he does.
Yeah, he's just popped up all over the place. Defenders think they've got him covered and he turns up somewhere else. And they really utilised that there with finding him with a good feed. And it's given Forge a 3-2 lead at the quarter.
Was that what you were expecting, Sean?
I think in terms of maybe the sort of low scoring nature, a bit of the sort of that cagey thing, I don't think teams want to get caught. They don't want to be pushed too high. They don't want to find themselves conceding easy, cheap goals. So I think from that point of view, yes, I think Rise would have wanted to come out and stamp themselves on the game. And I think that Vince Caro, coaching staff, I think they'll probably be a little bit disappointed. I don't think they really took the hold on the game that they think that they could and they should. And I think that'll be something that they'll definitely look to rectify here. They're going to have to, come out strong, come out fighting as they, want to try and pull this back.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think they'll really want to, identify what they spoke about before the game and what bits they have done and what bits they haven't done and try and put those right. Because I think big conversation that's been going across all the coaches, 8 minutes to get yourself started into a game. Sometimes you're not quite into the flow with it yet, and so actually making wholesale changes after just 8 minutes after the first quarter can be a little bit, jumping the gun a little bit. So they've got to make sure that, you know, they're keeping their team on track, and then if they have got anything that they want to address and change, maybe do that at half time.
So the teams are just making their way back out onto the field. We will begin with a face-off at the start of this second quarter.
Yeah, and Simpson Pink's still not to put his helmet back on, so, you know, I think maybe some electrolytes, or I'm not quite sure what's going on there. We might find out at half-time.
Forward switching to brace girdle for this face. And brace girdle makes the win, gets the push.
It's nice to finally get some settled play again, Sean.
Yeah, and here we go. I think, you know, if Forge can run a really good play here, you know, really considered, really work the ball well, move it about. This is what they need to, you know, look for those players popping up around the crease, around the back. Ming Trin's just coming up, looking for Laycock. And there's Watson.
Yeah, he tried to move Will Baxter there, but Baxter was equal to it. He got his helmet on that save, and that's the kind of thing that he can bring to his team. He really is a one-on-one shot stopper. But just as I say, a commentator's curse, and the ball goes in the back of the net.
Great work from Watson to make up for that miss there. We see that so often with the Roys, you know, when they go a couple goals down, when the things go against them, Alex Russell picks the ball up, looks for an individual play, looks to drive to goal, and he's done it once again there to pull them back within one.
Yeah, I think the Rise are trying to take away some transition opportunities, but they actually got caught there subbing on defence, and that meant that there was a 5v4 opportunity, and Roach just popped up in the middle and had a nice finish himself.
So it's Russell on ball again, looking for his options. No one showing quite yet. Pomfret steps up, great turn and finish.
Yeah, that was a great little opportunity. He created it for himself. You know, I think the Forge were trying to almost like playing like a half hybrid zone there. So they were out on ball, but then off backside kind of covering. And Mike Pomfret recognised that and really drove on that, trying to find the island and give himself a great opportunity to shoot and turn. Just working out what's going on with the officials' call here.
Paige Laycock being such a tricky customer again. He's somebody who's really looking to have an influence on this game, and he's really causing some problems for that Rise defence, and I think they're going to be taking a penalty here as well.
Yeah, so another extra man opportunity for Forge. We'll probably see them run that rotation as well once again. What I'd like to see them share the ball actually a little bit more off that rotation, and maybe work it to that second phase to see if they can actually get a better shot off, because they've done it a couple of times and it's almost like they created half an opportunity. But I'd like to see them create something a little bit more clinical for themselves.
So Forge with their 1-goal lead, just approaching midway in the second quarter, looking to extend their lead, give themselves a good advantage. Instead it's picked up by Davidson.
Yeah, I'd just like to see Parker step in on that seam, on that zone a little bit there, because I think he'd have given himself an opportunity. But I think Rise will try and kill this penalty, which they're doing with Mike Pomfret behind. And
they've just released now to Evans. And the feed's good.
Yeah, he's done a really good job actually there, Mike Pomfret, playing with his head up and actually finding Russell, who we know is clinical in front of the goal.
Yeah, Mike Pomfret had a really terrific day yesterday for for Rise. Really stepped up in both the games, and he's looking like a key man for them here today, particularly with Simpson Pink off on the sidelines. Russell getting joy with that, just, you know, going by himself, that sort of middle just opening up for him as they're...
This game's going toe for toe at the moment now, Sean. I think what we saw in that last one was possibly a little bit lack of communication from the Forge on their D set, but they respond equally at the back. You know, they're giving themselves an opportunity to maybe slide and need to get a little bit more physical and get their distances right defensively. Good save, Tim Blower. Really played a nice high arc on that one. Steps up and he's giving his team another opportunity to go play attack.
Timeout called by Forge with 3:23 to go in the second quarter. Scores tied at all sixes. It's perfectly poised, isn't it, Mike?
Yeah, we've used that expression a number of times, and you know, what we're starting to see now is that the game players really get into this game. They're really starting to express themselves. You know, the likes of Pomfret, Russell, equally on Forge. We've seen Dan Watson step up. We've seen Bracegirder with the ball in his stick a few times, and I think these guys know what's on the line. No one wants to lose this final, so they're really going to push themselves and play nice physical. They've done a lot on the recovery, and you know, the rest of the weekend they're just going to make it all count here. Nice little two-man game there on the pick and roll, and that was fair decent shot from I think it was Tom Hallam.
Loose ball, and the team's trying to sub. Forge have got well, they did have man advantage, but again, Parker can't take the ball.
Yeah, and I said, like, it was from the turnover, and then they kind of almost got the jump, but then we've now seen Prescott, who's pretty much on his own in his own attacking half at the moment, as the Rise are trying to sub guys through and make numbers up.
Yeah, Coach Carr just fully told him, calm things down. Let's get the right men on. Let's take our right chances.
Silky, isn't he? That's another one-handed righty from Huns. I mean, it's nice to watch. What I have seen from the Rise, which might be a little bit, we're not seeing a huge amount of, is actually them taking the ball behind a little bit and turning that Forge defence. And it's giving them opportunities for the likes of Huns, for Pomfret to actually work off ball, find a lane and get themselves free. I think I can see Huns having a quick word with Blower there as he's walking back to his team huddle, just letting him know what just went past him.
He just makes things look so easy. You almost don't see how special it is, but you know, when you watch it back, you know, the quality is so high, and it's, you know, it's finding corners every time. And you know, I think he's only taken the 2 shots today, but he's found the net both times, and that's exactly what Rise, you know, wanted to add to this team, and they got it for this weekend, and it's something that has, you know, given them that little extra edge, and is why they're in the final now.
Yeah, I said it a few times just in conversations over the weekend. The fact that Ryan Hunt is in that team, it's allowing Alex Russell to play a little bit more and be a facilitator. We saw him doing a lot of the solo effort in that first weekend, really, with his team. And the fact that Hunt is in there now, it's just enabling Alex Russell to facilitate the rest of the team as well. And I think we've got a timeout there from Coach Cara, and I think he's looking at the game clock, he's looking at where they are in terms of the shot clock, and just wanting to manage this a little bit and just give themselves an opportunity to maybe try and get a bit of control and the ascendancy going into the halftime break.
Yeah, they've really done well to sort of slowly work themselves back in. Like you say, they were down at the quarter time, but they've worked really well in this quarter, taken real good percentage shots. They've not given away too much cheap, and Forge, whilst they've not done too much wrong, have just not taken the momentum, not taken that impetus anymore. They've sort of been a bit passive, and it's allowed Rise to, you know, get into that rhythm and start to dominate.
Yeah, they definitely used that timeout just to get 5 attacking-minded guys out on the field, and almost came up with it.
Yeah, lovely work, Tom Bracegirdle, keeping Forge in the game. He's sort of really been crucial this game, stepping up, making the big plays when needed, and pulling his team level again. And he takes a well-earned rest.
Yeah, I think he liked his match-up. I think he, anything that's physical for Bracegirdle, or he even had to finish that in his offhand. But I think he just liked the fact that where he was on the field, and he saw it. He looks the guy in the whites of his eyes. He's like, I'm having a dodge here.
So 40 seconds in the quarter. Forge, here we go, working the ball at speed, working it at pace. Paige Laycock again, going to that drive, but he's lost the ball, giving it up. Russell, break, finds Huns, beautiful finish, beautiful work between the two England internationals.
I mean, Ryan Huns, you'd have him down as an attacker, but he actually went for the double there. He caused that turnover. He then got himself upfield and got himself on the end of it. So you could actually say he created that in his defensive half and finished it in the attacking half. And do you know what? That goes unappreciated sometimes. Great individual effort, Dan Watson, really, with short on time to go here. And, I think he just fights for the middle of the field, and that's what's so impressive with a number of these opportunities. They know that they've got two good goalkeepers to beat, so they've got to get themselves right in front of the goal, fighting for the middle of the field. And we're starting to see some of that exhibition lacrosse come really into its own.
Yeah, I think we've definitely seen the standard step up after that first quarter, where the teams are just getting to find their feet. I think we've really seen them come to life there. We've seen some really impressive goals, some really impressive moves, and the game is just bubbling up. I can feel it. Yeah,
the level of intensity these guys are putting out there. I think you don't necessarily realise the distances these guys are covering, not only in terms of sprint, but also the what they're actually doing out on the field. So you start looking at the sprint distances these guys are covering. You're looking at average distances of about 80 metres a minute when you're on field, which a lot of that also is high intensity. So really, these guys are are putting it all out there for us all to enjoy and see.
Yeah, so I think we're going to cut to some head coach interviews that we did earlier pre-game, just to get a feel for what the coaches were thinking going into this final.
Vince Cara, head coach of Rye, summarised yesterday for us ahead of the final.
I think it was a long day. I think it was a good day. I mean, I had a great morning against Swift. I think the lads were excited for that game. I think they've had a bit of a point to prove coming in from the first weekend. I think we did that. Second game was tough. I think I had a chat with Sam after the game. I think they came with a great game plan. They tried to stop some of our offensive threats, and I think our decision making kind of slipped a little bit, but I think we had a lot of time to reflect overnight, a lot of time to recover, and I think we're excited for today.
In the play-in yesterday, you beat Swift, who were unbeaten at that stage, but you didn't just beat them, you really thumped them by 7 goals. Your confidence must be sky high going into this.
I think so, and I think it kind of came out the first weekend. I mean, we lost to Swift 16-15 the last game of the first weekend, and actually we were ahead by 4 twice. And I think obviously in any sport, that's a lot. And obviously we knew we had lessons to learn from a game management perspective. And I think we came in, we obviously were able to prepare. We had film to watch. We had a good game plan, and we know our guys. We've got a great team. We know they can execute a game plan. I think they did that to perfection.
And I heard you were in the pub last night. What were the boys up to?
The boys are recovering. The boys are recovering. Okay, they go. I think they went to bed. I mean, we had a meeting last night. I think like about 9, half 9. They were knackered. It was a long day. I think long being outside, a lot of time on the feet. So they kind of relaxed. They kind of took the weight off the feet a little bit, rested, recovered, stretched, ate, and just went to sleep.
I know. But between this morning and your game, you're the last game on today. So it's quite a big gap, isn't it? Yeah. What do you spend the morning doing?
So personally, we've been game playing. Myself and Gavin, we watched our game film yesterday. We also watched Forge's game film from yesterday, and we've been coming up with a game plan for this afternoon. From a player perspective, we had breakfast early, but then actually we gave them some time off. We kind of get an opportunity if they want to go out for a walk, to get sticks in hands, or equally just kind of get their feet and recover. They had time to do that, and then we had our game playing session about 11 o'clock for an hour or so, and then we're kind of drifting down now, getting ready for this afternoon. I
was just about to ask about Forge. What do you know about them? What are you anticipating in terms of coming up against them?
I think they look extremely strong in transition. They scored a lot of their goals. I see in the first half yesterday against Swift, we're in transition. They pushed the ball really, really well. So we have to be prepared for that. I think transitions is going to be huge in this game. If you let that get out of hand, we're not going to have an opportunity. So we really have to take that away. And we want to play them 5-on-5, and we'll sit and see what we can do from that perspective.
Vince, thanks for your time. Good luck. We'll catch up with you after the final.
Perfect. Thank you.
So we're going to get started. I think the team's already coming out with the second half. Really interesting to hear what Coach Carr was actually saying there about how they've prepared for the game and actually trying to nullify that threat in transition. I think we saw a little bit of that in the first half and really trying to just get back and try and limit those transition opportunities as much as they possibly could. I think we've just had an update as well about Simpson Pink. He's potentially hurt himself a little bit with a quad strain or something along those lines. He's been attended to by the medical team, but interesting how that's going to impact the Rise going into this game. One player less down for the whole second half.
Yeah, I think they've probably threw them early, but I think they coped well in that second quarter, got themselves back into their sort of rotations, back into working out who was gonna fill in the spot, and I think they came back strong in that period. Again, as you say, that sort of Cara talking about the transition game, I think probably something that we've actually not seen much in this game. It's probably something, like you say, that they worked to counter early, and the teams were well set up going into that first quarter, so they've done well to nullify that threat early, so that will have been a plus for Rise, and now we'll just have to see how this one starts to pan itself out at the start of the third.
Yeah, and we saw like there was low on shot clock there, and actually Roach took it upon himself. He knew there's about 8 left on the clock. He just dropped so deep because he just wanted to make sure there's no kind of phase of a transition attack. And then obviously they got the shot clock reset, and then he got himself back upfield. So again, he's doing it again. He's dropping deep just to make sure that they're getting nothing against them. And it's a smart play. He's either been asked to do that as a responsibility, or he's taking that ownership himself using his experience.
Baxter out with a save to start the half again. Good tip over from Tim Blower. Yeah, I think we're looking here, like you say, Rise have gone out strong start of the quarter. They've got all their gun players out for this first set. The team that can take the lead now at the start, if somebody can get a 1 or 2 goal run together, that will allow them to be able to look to manage the game going up to the end of the contest. And there is Mike Pomfret putting Rise ahead.
Yeah, that's his third there, Sean. And if you're forward, you're going to start asking yourselves, are we getting the right matchups, or can we force him to different parts of the field, maybe where he's not going to be quite as a threat?
And then on the flip side, that's when options then become available for others if they start to, target people on form. Rise have got the other, the other attackers who can then step in and use that space to great effect.
Yeah, and we saw, there's a nice little initiation dodge there from Parker, and he found a nice little passing lane as well, but just Paige Laycock pulling that one slightly, but still early. That's not going to be too costly for them. They'll be happy they're getting those shooting opportunities, they're getting the chances to go play attack, as we see a turnover the other way.
Yeah, Josh Yeoman just gave good hassling then, just keeping his attacker honest, and managed to force a little errant pass out wide.
Yeah, and Josh Yeoman's been brought in for this weekend, and he's doing a good job just facilitating with his team in the attack and taking that defensive responsibility. And here we see him on that initiation dodge and really trying to, start creating for his team as well.
The ball's broke and Prescott's come free. It's going to goal. Nice finish, really composed. He had a lot of time to think about that.
They can be the hard ones, Sean, when you know you're one-on-one and you're so clear and all the pressure's on. But he composed himself nicely there.
Chases on, Baxter's going to come under. Brace Girdle's not going to let him have that one easy, but it's a really nice little flick out.
Yeah, you know what, Baxter's using experience there. He's asking for Davidson just to goose him the ball, make sure that he's making a smart play, making it nice and easy, and they're actually going to come and go extra man, I think, on this opportunity as well now. Yep, there we see, there's the foul, bringing it right the way back from the previous back line for the hold. And now we get to see this swift firepower and attack.
Yeah, good start to the third for Rise, 2-goal lead. So we approach the midpoint in the third quarter. Possession, man up, 3-goal lead. You know, that's in these games, that's been, you know, almost terminal. That's sort of crucial. We don't really see teams come back from too much more than that in this at the moment. It's been really close stuff, but great work from Elliot Leonard. He read that pass to the crease and just picked it off. Yeah,
he's a nice player, Elliot. He's very graceful on ball. He sees everything off ball. He's very dynamic as a two-way, and I think he's just trying to take some control for his team here because he knows that they need to kill that penalty. And I think he's aware of what you said as well, Sean. You know, a couple of goals down, they want to have a little bit of control and make sure that they're coming up with a ball, which, you know, little passes like that, this might well start creeping in a little bit of doubt, but they want to maintain some composure out there now.
Lovely move again. What we spoke about earlier and mentioned there again. Rise taking the ball behind, looking to work from behind. You know, turning their defenders, and they're definitely getting some joy from that through both feeding and driving from behind.
Yeah, Yeoman actually had a really nice little slide there. I think it was great play from Russell, who got his head up and found the extra pass. Bartlett, I think, utilising his timeout. He recognises his team's gone a couple down since the break, and just wants to, you know, refocus his guys, make sure that they're getting the right personnel on for this attacking set, because he knows next possession's going to count, and he's got 21 seconds on this shot clock, and he wants his guys to make every second of that matter.
Paige Laycock being forced behind. Ready going up against Porter.
5 on the clock.
Yeah, good work there, Rise. I think, not sure, Forge really didn't show much of what they, you know, didn't show that they had something set. They were sort of just going back and forth in a few like individual drives, but nothing sort of really crucial, and Rise were able to see it out.
Yeah, and defensive stops like that, you know, in this part of the game, in this stage of the game, can be almost as crucial as putting the ball in the back of the net as well.
Wow.
I was just waiting to see what unfolded.
I was just about to say wow, but looks like we might have it spoiled.
I mean, they made between the two Rise players, they made a fairly smart move on the sideline. They kept that ball in bounds. Pomfret came up with the ground ball. I think they may have called him for the crease call, perhaps. I'm not quite sure. We're trying to still see this unravel.
Yeah, it was plenty of chaos in the play, but ended with a lovely move that's unfortunately going to be chalked off. We'll watch it on the replay here anyway. Spin inside, goes across, finish between the legs, but it's not going to count, and that's really important for Forge. Keeps it to a 3-goal. They can't afford to go any more than that down. And here's their opportunity to cut that lead to 2 now. Use that to their advantage.
Great finish. You know, we're seeing these guys trying to fight for the middle of the field. So we've got the lefties on this right-hand side of play. We've got the right-hand players on the opposite side. So they're generating those shots. So they're favouring their angles. And Paige Laycock had a really nice low to high finish there.
What's coming behind? Looks to feed, can't be taken. And another crease call. Goes against Rise.
Do you know, I think it was a good timeout from Coach Bartlett before, because since that timeout, we've really seen the Forge kind of just start making their own luck a little bit, and they're really starting to just play again. And I think this is going to be good level of momentum for them, possibly going in maybe 1 or 2 down into this last quarter.
What's coming round? I think they've got a penalty call coming. No goal given to Watson, unfortunately. Again, really good pressure to come through. We've got a hold given against Rise.
Yeah, I think that was a fair call. I mean, that's again Watson fighting hard for the middle of the field, and you know, drawing the foul. I think if you asked him, would he want the foul, would he want the goal, he'd probably say the latter. So just less than 12 on the clock here, Sean. See what they want to try and generate something quickly, or they're going to hold out.
Good save, Baxter push behind, and that's going to be the quarter.
Yeah, what I like there was actually, I think Watson possibly could have taken the shot, but he actually fed through the zone. Not only did Parker get a decent shot, but that moves backs right from one side of his goal right the way across to the other. And, you know, I think that's the kind of thing that they're going to have to be thinking about going into this last quarter. With the quality of the goalkeepers that are out there, we've got to move them laterally. We've got to move them not only with their stick and maybe the shot, but also if you can get them moving left to right across the goal, they're the easier put-ins.
Yeah, I think, and you know, that's a positive for Forge there, is that they actually moved the ball well. They created the good scoring opportunity. They just came up, you know, against a terrific goalkeeper. But that's what they need to be doing, you know, creating those chances to score. And eventually, the chances that you get, if you keep creating good chances like that, you will eventually begin to find the net. And they're, you know, they've got 8 minutes now, everything to play for, you know. They're just going to have to just go for it. You know, they've got nothing to lose. 2 goals down. They really will, you know, have a really good go at this, and we'll see what they can come up with. Meanwhile, Coach Carr is just trying to keep his team going, keep them going. You know, they've worked really hard to get to this point. They've, you know, controlled things since that first quarter. They've started to control things more, and you know, I think he'll just be telling them to let's just see this out to the end. Let's just really manage this well. Let's just, you know. I think he thinks if they keep playing the game that they're playing, they're going to win. So they're going to have the opposition do something special to turn them over. So
because Rise are on man down, the Forge are actually going to start with this one, so we're not going to start with a face. The Forge will be really happy that they're going to give themselves an opportunity to score early in this last quarter. And I think what you're saying there, Sean, is really key. You know, we saw in the previous game the game management come into it. The team that managed the game best towards the end actually ended up winning.
Watson wide with the opening shot of the quarter. Again, Rise just slowing things down, making sure they're even numbers, getting all their right players on the field.
Yeah, they got the matchups, to making sure they're trying to get out on Mike Pomfret a little bit so that they know how much of a threat he can be.
Yeah, that's great work there. I think we have sort of seen, once that shot clock ticks below 10, you know, the decision making suddenly changes a bit, and we've seen, you know, rightly, but trying to push the ball, and that's where you can really force those mistakes. So, you know, if once you can slow things down and get teams to run that shot clock down, then that's when, you know, all your defensive opportunities come.
He was running short on the shot clock there, Sean. I think, you know, Ming Ching was probably about right taking that shot. But again, decent defensive set from Rise, which, to be fair, a lot of time in this tournament, we're not giving them that much credit for their defensive work. But they're really digging deep here, making sure that they're equally hard to beat as they are with the firepower up front.
again, Forge, just a little missed opportunity there, you know, something they really could have capitalised from.
Yeah, I think we might start seeing a little bit of game management and wanting to use the full 30 seconds on that shot clock. They know that they've got the opportunities. Great little stop on the doorstep there by Blower, allowing Paige Laycock to go bursting up the field.
This is where they need to make it count now into Watson, but he can't take the ball from Madeley. Potential push after, but nothing given. Rise will come forward.
Yeah, and it's those little ones, those little kind of handling errors. You know, there's a great opportunity there for Watson to get a point for his team. You know, great one-on-one defence there by Bracegirdle against Russell. And again, you know, we want to see these teams really be clinical in everything that they've got in the last part of this game.
Yeah, Forge, you know, they're looking really honest in defence. You know, they're coming up with some good plays. And
we might have a stoppage here, Sean. That was a great finish from Watson. I think he collided with Baxter there at the end.
Yeah, great diving finish. I was trying to work out if the goal was good, but yeah, the goal was perfectly fine. There was a penalty on the play that I think was cancelled, but we're now getting a new penalty.
Yeah, so they're going to go extra man, having scored the goal. That's a little swing, you know. They'll fancy the chances to get themselves back within a couple.
So 5 minutes left in the men's fly final. Rise leading 12 goals to 10.
There's that wheel carry. Again, a great stop from Baxter. The killing the penalty.
But again, still on. Watson comes forward, looking this time to go to goal. Yet finds back of the net.
Yeah, that was good. I think those are the little things, you know. There's they killed the penalty nicely there, but then Forge really quickly showing that strength and depth they've got, getting right back into their attack. And you know, this game, I can tell you, Sean, is far from over.
Real fight on the floor there. Russell on top of the ball. If the Pomfret went for the shot, penalty again against Forge.
Yeah, that fighting, that scrapping for the ball shows how much both these teams really want this. You know, Blower coming up with the doorstep stop, and the loose ground ball being fought for in the crease. That's the kind of intensity that these guys, you know, want to play at, and the physicality that they're putting out there, and it's really kind of showing you how much they want it. So extra man for the Rise.
1 goal and 1 man advantage. Huns comes back with the ball and drills low down through the ground. Again, I think Huns probably has a 100% shooting record. I think when he's taking his shots, he's making them count. You know, that's exactly what you want from your man, you know, taking the shots that you know you can make.
I know Coach Cara has been talking to his team about the percentage that they're shooting at, and he's harping on to them about how important it is. And you know, Ryan Huns is living up to that expectation.
Meanwhile, Baxter pulls off another top save that gives his team 2-goal lead. Just over 3 minutes to go. Again, this is, like you say, start to move into a little bit of game management, but Huns was going for something special.
Yeah, so exactly 3 to go. 2 goals in it, and Forge on the attack.
So in this sixes format, 2 goals really is nothing. And Mike Bartlett calls another timeout, get his team focused, get his team prepared. I think we saw the last time he took a timeout, they came out really positive from it. So he's going to look to have the same effect now.
Yeah, and this will give both teams an opportunity to get the right personnel onto the field. So we can see Challoner being subbed on here for the defensive set, and Forge coming out with their strong attacking unit. And do you know what, Sean? This is exactly what we wanted, right?
Yeah, I think, here we are, 2-goal game, less than 3 to go. I think we just saw their sort of Rise staying on the field. I think Cara was almost in that point of view of, 3 minutes to go. You know what the job is now. You know what you need to do. I don't need to have too much influence. And that's exactly what they need to do. Baxter coming up with the save. But Forge retained possession. Parker now. Shot clock was reset. Ball popped up.
We've got a penalty call. Yeah, so they're gonna get an extra man opportunity there. I think, the Forge guys are actually trying to do the right thing. They're trying to share the ball a little bit, and kind of sometimes you just want to see who's going to step up and put the ball in the back of the net a little bit, rather than being that selfless guy. Because I think Parker could have had the match up there and given himself a little more opportunity, but we're going to see them go extra man, and we've seen some nice plays from these guys today on this extra man offence. So let's see this one, if they can get themselves back within one.
So ready on ball, working with Parker. Brace Girdle trying to direct as well. Dan Watson steps aside, but Will Baxter's there again, and from those sort of angled shots, he's been there every single time. He's been there, he's read them, he's managed them, and he may well prove the difference here as we enter the last 2 minutes.
Yeah, he's gone high to high there on the shot, but I tell you what, that could be crucial. That there's a re-entry of the crease, and it's given Forge another opportunity.
Parker looking to push it quick, but again goes wide. I think they had they had slightly more time there. You think only 1:38 on the clock. You think you've got to score quick, but you are guaranteed at least 2 possessions there, and they could have tried to work something a bit better than that. But instead, they're going to have to press the ball high. Ming, Trin on ball. But Pomfret goes loose with the pass as well. Thought again, might have seen Roy's just, make sure they played out the 30. But instead, we've got 1:20 to go here. Roy's lead by 2. Forge on the ball. Brace Girdle coming inside. Again, tipped away by Baxter. We've got another penalty on Brace Girdle.
So if you Forge now, you're going to go man up for a minute. There's 1:08 on the clock. It's going to give you a great opportunity to get a shot here, get a goal, and then try and get that press on to turn the ball over to give yourselves a chance to go and tie this game going into overtime potentially. So that's what they've got to be thinking about it. They've got to be making sure that shooting opportunity they're generating now is quality. They get maybe, looking likes on the field. They've got Watson, they've got Leonard, who can absolutely shoot from the outside. We've seen Laycock already score today. So let's see what they can do.
Yes, Ben Page Laycock.
Right on cue.
Real key man. He has really turned up today. He's looked really impressive, and that's a little bit extra to him, shot from the outside where he's done a lot of his work close to goal. But so here we go. 13-12, 45 seconds on the clock. Rise will have to use this ball. Forge will get a play. They'll just have to make sure that Rise can't find the finish. Blower tries to attack. Russell holding possession. He's ridden multiple challenges. Shot comes in. Blower's got it down, but that's a reset. And the reset comes at 30 seconds.
If they hold this now, that is the game, pretty much.
Yeah.
And that's exactly why Cara's called that timeout. So we'll see what the Forge come out with. I think they'll probably try and pull Blower out, potentially, or go all out, put some pressure on this ball. But if you're Rise, and we've been speaking about the firepower they've got, you've got guys who are really confident. You can see Hunter's already walking over to this ball saying, I want this ball in my stick. I'm going to win this game for our team.
So vital there, just Marius Robinson being the first to that loose ball, just retaining that possession after the save from Blower, has almost won them the championship. That is the key play, and they're going to say to themselves, we will back ourselves to hold this ball for 27 seconds. We're going to hold it. We're going to take this championship, and you're going to have to come and get it off us if you want to win this.
So Rise is still man down, so actually they can comfortably keep lowering in the goal and get 2 up on the ball. So we've got Brace Girdle and Hallam versus Hunt here, trying to force a turnover.
Hunt will also be trying to draw a foul. Can he draw that penalty? Fakes the feed, just holding the ball really well. 15. The checks start to come. Brace good on Hallam, dislodge. Huns picks back up, and I think he's taking it out. He has 8.5 seconds left on the clock. Forge have got to move it quickly. This is it. This is for the championship. 3 to go. Long range shot, Hallam goes wide. And that is going to be championship rise. There we have it.
What a game, Sean. We've had so many one-goal games. I think without having a one-goal game for the final, this tournament would have done itself an injustice. But you can see the great respect between these two teams. The Forge know they've done a great battle and they've been in it, but credit to the Rise. They've really kind of come through that game. And, you know, looking at the margins in that game, both goalkeepers did great, but I think, you know, Baxter made some crucial stops for his team.
It was the perfect finish. It was exactly what we've built up to all the way through this competition, all the way through the championship, getting to that final moment. And again, we saw that, you know, the right players stepping up at the right times. I think someone like Will Baxter perfectly epitomised that. He made key saves for his team just when it was needed, and they did just enough to see themselves through over the line to take the championship.
Yeah, no, it's been great this last couple of weekends we've had here at the Fly, Sean. So much learning's gone on, and some fantastic level of lacrosse that we've been seeing on display, and that final, I think, caps it all.
Yeah, it's been a real fantastic competition from start to finish. We've seen the teams grow and develop from those, you know, first games coming together. You know, teams new put together, teams that didn't know each other before they came in, and now, you know, we've seen the teamwork, the team spirit on the pitch that's come together and culminated in this final. I think, you know, these two teams met on that opening day in those opening games. They went to overtime. Forge took it in overtime, whereas we've now come to this, a one-goal game, switch back to Rise. Those are the fine margins that can take you from, you know, winning the championship or losing the championship. We've seen it right there.
It was exactly the same score as well, Sean. It was 12-13 in overtime.
12-13
in this game as well. You know, I think, you know, it's been great to be part of this this event, and the guys have learned so much out there. The coaches have learned a lot. The referees, the officials, the umpires, they've done a lot of learning as well. And taking this format, moving forward, it's so positive to see that our game in this position.
Yeah, I think, you know, it's been people turned up. We weren't quite sure what to expect from the competition. You know, people weren't quite sure, you know, how the format would work, how these teams would get together. But I think we've seen just out there how competitive and how successful it's been. And, you know, Rise very well deservedly in the middle now, taking all the plaudits and the celebrations.
Yeah, I think... Yeah, well, I think we're going to hear from Cara actually now. We're going to hear from what his thoughts on his winning team's performance is.
Here with Vince Cara, head coach of Rise. Congratulations, you are the champions.
I know. It's I mean, we have a great group. They've been so supportive over the weekend. I couldn't have asked for more. So I think they deserve it. They've worked so hard. So.
I mean, that was a perfect example of the weekend by one goal. That last 30 seconds was key. What did you say to the boys in that timeout?
Run. And run away. I mean, we were on a penalty as well, so we were 5-on-4, and that was difficult. Oh, you see, they came out and they doubled the ball straight out, and we have some very good players, and it's just we take as much time off the clock as we can, just run, and we got to get. And we're all setting up ready for the break again. So we know this team's so strong in transition, so we had to be ready for that.
You were never down in the game. Were you always confident of winning?
I believe in our team, and I believe in our game plan. And yeah, I believe if we executed, we would do it. We'd put in a performance, and that's how we measure it. It has to be on performance.
Any key moments? Any key players you want to shout out?
I don't think I could. I think throughout this weekend, everyone has had their moments and got us through. I mean, unfortunately, for example, like Josh got injured in the game, but he wouldn't have been here because he got us through the first game. So he wouldn't have been here without him. But I think the way the lads have all performed through the weekend, it has to be a team performance, and I couldn't figure anyone out.
Are we going to see you at the Fly next year?
If you want to invite me back, maybe.
And what the Sixes format now? We've had a complete championship of it. What are your thoughts on a whole? How's it been run from your point of view?
I think it's great. I mean, I think it's a great format. I think it's going to be a great kind of way to kind of other people to see the game. It's fast, it's exciting, and what have you. And I think it's going to be. I hope we can get it on a bigger stage so people can see it. I think people are going to love it when they see it. We just got to get it out there.
And win, lose or draw, everybody seems to have had fun this weekend.
Oh, the lads have loved it. I mean, we lost 2 of our 3 games the first weekend, and we still came away. Everyone said I absolutely loved it, and they loved the environment. And
final question: field, box, or sixes?
Oh, it's a toss-up between field and sixes. It's close. I think I need to do more sixes. I've been in the field for 20 years, so I have to do the sixes a bit more. But it's a lot closer than it would have been if you asked me a week ago, right? It's been so good and it's so enjoyable.
Vince, congratulations. Go and enjoy it with your team. Well done.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Fantastic, mate.
What a question that was at the end. That was a tough one. Field, box or sixes? What are you saying, Sean?
I think they've shown that they've all got their merits there. We've seen that. I think we've seen here that the games can all stand in their all formats in their own right, and skills can be taken from each of the formats. Each of the skills can be brought in. We've seen traditional field players out here. We've seen traditional box players out here. Both sets of players are able to to make this game theirs, and they're able to take their skills that they've got from those games and apply them to these. And similarly, the skills picked up here can start to complement people's games there, and the sort of relationships and skills that are built up throughout can be developed, and the games can work together.
Yeah, the only thing I would say and add to that is that you can absolutely see this being an Olympic coverage, and I think that if that's the destination for this version and for our sport, then you can absolutely see six-a-side featuring in whatever major city in the world it might be next.
And I think we're now going to cut to an interview with Team Rise captain Lax Russell.
I'm here with Lax Russell, captain of Rise. How does that feel, champions?
It's a great win to get after 3 days of play. We've had some tough wells. So we lost to them in overtime in the first weekend, so it's nice to get one back over on them in the final when it really matters. But it's a great feeling for us and the boys.
And what we've said to Vince is everybody looks like they've really enjoyed themselves. It's competitive, no mistake, but you've enjoyed yourselves, haven't you?
Well, yeah, you've got to come out here to enjoy yourself in the foremost, because otherwise the lads wouldn't be here in a sense. Like if you're not enjoying playing, then you wouldn't turn up. So the fast-paced nature of the game makes it just as enjoyable. Just you flying up and down. It's 32 minutes of high intense action. Yeah, it's nice to come out and run around.
Any highlights across the 3 weeks for you?
Well, obviously winning it's a big one, but I think it's nice just seeing realistically, we all kind of knew each other just through lacrosse. It's a small community, but we just thrown together on a team and getting to know each other, how to play, just becoming like a team in a sense, because it was a bit of a thrown together. So it's nice to that sort of like team camaraderie was nice to build.
And how have you got on with the rules? Because it's been a little bit sort of mixed emotions and maybe mixed decisions and which way they go. How have you found learning this new format?
The rules, yeah, they're good. Obviously, it's a new format, so there's going to be tweaks and things that maybe I personally would change. But there's also a lot of rules that I love. So fast, so creative, and it's just making it the most entertaining sport to watch in a sense. So there's some things that might need tweaking, but I'm happy with the way it was played.
I think from a neutral point of view, we can all agree it is entertaining. So it is end to end. You are absolutely drenched, you're knackered. How does it compare to the main format of the game?
A lot less time to think. Especially in international lacrosse, no shot clocks. You can really slow the game down. You get the right personnel on in offense, defense. Whereas this is, you maybe have on our team we had 5 guys who would say offensive players and 5 guys that were defensive players. But rarely did you have the 5 offensive players in the offensive half of the field, because it's just so up and down, which just makes it a bit more challenging to get what you want on this end of the pitch.
Well, your teammates behind you are making their way, so I'll let you go with them. Lax, congratulations. Thanks for your time.
Thanks very much. Cheers.
Brilliant, mate. Well done. Really, really good.
Yeah, really interesting to hear the thoughts of Lax Russell on that one there, Sean. And I think he was spot on with some of his analysis of. There's a lot of conversations that have been going along with the umpire and officials that have been here, and he mentioned about the rule tweaks. I think it's been great to see the guys get to grips with it, and it's really positive actually to kind of see that open conversation about this new format. So it's been great to see.
Yeah, and whilst we've just had the celebrations with Vince Carter and Alex Russell, we're now going to hear from head coach of Team Forge, Mike Bartlett.
Bartlett, head coach of the Forge, not the result you wanted, but it was incredibly close, Mike.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it was a great advert for the game. There's been so many one-goal games over the course of this tournament. I think it's probably, in hindsight, quite fitting that the final was played in that manner, and could have gone either way. We had our runs. If we were a little more ruthless and clinical, maybe the result would have been the other way, but they deserved it. Coming into the weekend, we knew Rise were probably the team to beat. Everybody, particularly with the players that came into the team with Ryan Huns, who's one of the best players outside North America and inside North America as well, he's brought a different dimension to their game, which I knew that we'd have to try and counter somewhat. So proud of the boys. No one really gave us any chance of being where we are, so to take it to a one-possession game is impressive.
As a coach, what do you take away personally? I know you're proud of the team, but in yourself as well?
I think it's. I think we did a really good job as a group this weekend. You know, we came in with absolutely no expectation. We were bottom at the start of it on the Saturday before, so it was just all about improving the performance throughout, finding an identity that we believed matched our players and our ability, and I think we found that.
No, not the result you wanted in the final, but have you enjoyed yourself, Mike?
Absolutely, it's great. The format of the game's fast, it's intense, it's so great to see, it's great to watch for the fans, and to finish the tournament with a spectacle of that kind of calibre was something special.
It was a great way to take it off, wasn't it? Now, any highlights to go away with? What are going to be your fondest memories of the weekend?
From our team perspective, just that whole where we came from and where we ended up. No one gave us a chance, and we were down as the underdogs. We liked that. We preferred being on the underdog side of things because the only way is up, and we proved that we were capable. I think the way that we nullified certain threats of certain teams was really impressive, and I think we played some incredible one-on-one and two-man games throughout the weekend.
Are we going to see you at Sixers again in the future?
Oh. If they'll have me back.
I'm sure they will. Really appreciate your time.
No problem.
Well done getting to the final. Not the result you wanted, but great entertainment for everybody watching.
No problem. Thank you very much.
Cheers, Mike.
Cheers, guys.
Thanks to Mike for that. I think, great to hear from him there that, whilst they've ultimately come up short in the final, they've sort of made their own achievements this weekend. They came from being the fourth ranked side coming into this weekend. They've made it to the final. They've upset a few of the teams. And I think, they're taking a lot away from this. Obviously, the emotion now will be one of disappointment. But when they look back, they'll know that they really made a step up this weekend.
Yeah, I think the big thing that the Forge will be pleased about is actually that they showed themselves in a fair representation of what they thought they had in their squad. And they played that game right the way. We saw 30 seconds left on the clock, and there was still a chance for them to actually try and get that turnover. But yeah, I think we said it yesterday. I think the Rise had a lot to offer in terms of their attack, and that was just enough to get them over the line in the end.
Well, we've had an absolutely tremendous weekend of fly action. Men's, women's, you name it, we've seen it, we've had it. We've crowned our two champions, Swift of our women's fly competition, and Team Rise in our final game have taken the inaugural men's fly championship. We hope you've enjoyed watching. Mike, it's been great to be here with you. I hope you've had a good time.
Absolutely, it's been great. Thank you very much, Sean. It's been fantastic.
And we'll look forward to seeing you back next year for the fly again. So thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.